Why are the liberal progressives, the human rights activists, the pro-Palestinians not marching for the Iranians as they are slaughtered in broad daylight? Everybody's asking this question. Few know the answer. Some will say no Jews, no news. Some will say the Iranian regime is the ultimate protector of the Palestinian people. That's why you can't go against your ultimate cause. Some will bring in this victim equation. They always side with the victim. That's why they need this ultimate oppressor and the ultimate victim in order to march for them. However, this implies that they have a bleeding heart for victims, for those who are oppressed, for those who are persecuted. But your heart cannot bleed politically for your political cause. It doesn't make any sense. It needs to be something else. And there is. I will say that the underlying theme is power. Bring me a noble cause of those neo-Marxists, these justice warriors, and I'll show you how one side is deemed the powerful and the other side the powerless. And their march is seeking to take away power from the powerful and grant it to the powerless. And this is why when a black person kills another black person, there is no power dynamic. But if a white person kills the black person, the white people are deemed the powerful, the slave traders, the imperialists, the colonialists. Same goes for the Zionists, which are an extension for the imperialist evil United States, the ultimate power. And since the Iranian regime is the symbol of the fight against the ultimate power, 10,000, 20,000 dead Iranians is a small price to pay to hold the ultimate power in check by the Iranian regime. Why is this dangerous? Because they project power as an end, not as a means. And once they will assume power, they will do exactly, if not worse, than what they accuse those who are powerful now. Because that's how they mirror image and perceive the idea of power. Progressives don't believe in a higher calling, a higher authority. They don't believe in history. They don't believe in tradition. The buck starts and stops right here. There is no dialogue. There is no fine-tuned universe that sustains itself by a calling, by a God, or by whatever. It's what I feel is right. And the system, how I keep society in check, is power. It started with the French Revolution. It kept going with Marxism, and now it's neo-Marxism. However, that is not the whole story. Christians and Muslims historically also abused power. They also abused power. So even if you answer to a higher authority, you can still abuse your power. So what is the balance? How do we keep power in check? How do we use power for the ultimate goal, but not become corrupted by it? And this week's Parsha reveals the secret. The Jewish faith, the Jewish people, never conquered, never abused powers over others, never proselytized, always kept it to themselves, and they always answered to God. So this week's Parsha starts that God is speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu and tells him, "Vaydaber Elokim el Moshe vayomer Elov ani Hashem." The message is, Ani Hashem, I am God. Therefore, you can never abuse power and use it as a means, as an end and not as a means. It's never the destiny. I am your destiny. And that is why when I'm here to redeem, to take the Israelites out of Egypt, the Israelites will never, when they assume power, exercise it in the same way the Egyptians did, because the Pharaoh believed that he is the God. The buck stops and starts with him as the progressives. However, if you believe in God, but eventually you become the voice of God, or even the Son of God, or you become the ultimate power, the church, the pastor, the priest, the Inquisition. And it's not a two-way street. It's not a grassroots, community-based religion where, although there's a God, it's played out in reality. People have a say. It's friendly to the materialistic way. There are 4 symbols of Geula, of redemption. And the first 3 are very self-explanatory. V'yitzaisi, I'll take you out. V'yitzalti, I'm going to rescue you. V'ge'alti, I'm going to redeem you. But then there is V'lokachti, I'll take you. Take you is counterintuitive, but listen. V'lokachti eschem li le'am, I will take you as a people. And then I will be your God. I'm not going to be your God like the Pope told the Christians that there is a God and therefore you should listen to what I have to say. You will always be my people. No rabbi can ever ultimately tell you what the word of God is. It's a process of a dialogue, a two-way street, a grassroots. You are part of the process. You are able to argue with the rabbis. You are able to question the rabbis. You are able to question even God. This week's parsha ends when last week Moshe Rabbeinu tells God, "Lama hare oisu lo amazeh." Why did you do that to the Jews, to the Israelites? That is what keeps power in check. That is how you cannot become the voice of God and exercise and assume ultimate power.